Hey, everybody. Welcome to our silly little talk. I'm Liz.
I'm Jared, and this is Get the Flock Out of My Cloud using DuckDB to detect Spousal sabotage.
So we're going to start, like, who are we, really?
Yeah.
You know? Let's dive in.
Yeah, so before we dive in, I'm a cloud security engineer, work in AWS, Azure, GCP, and sometimes when I'm under duress, Oracle. Like she said, I'm a SANS master's candidate, and at home, I play the role of butcher, baker, cook, etc.
He makes a really good sourdough. He raises it really good. I'm the director of IT and operations for a group of alternative high schools down in New Orleans. At home, I play the role of handyman. I have a bunch of half-finished DIY projects all over the house. And I'm the finder of lost things for our amazing 13-year-olds. So a little bit of quick context. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm super new to all of this. I have had many, many different passions in my life. I've been a barista, a photographer, a theater teacher, even a welder. I know I'm a problem. I like to learn a lot of things. But if you had told me just like 3 years ago that I'd be diving headfirst into cybersecurity, I would have gone, ugh, no, that's not me. That's his thing, not mine. Very true. I break every single computer that I touch. Like, there's no way. I kind of knew enough acronyms to not zone out when he talked about the cloud, but nothing more than that. Like, really, truly, nothing more. But through teaching and in education, the job opportunities there, the promotions there, really it's teaching and then admin, right? So I moved into admin and I moved into an operations role in my school district that's handling everything from food service, getting buses, facilities, and of course, tech support. So turns out my, let's say, casual IT knowledge made it so that way I was the most qualified person there to troubleshoot tech problems. And honestly, cybersecurity sought me out. Like, it was just perfect. So after many, many emails from him, I decided to catch a SANS New to Cyber Summit a couple of years ago. And I got to tell y'all, I was obsessed. Like, I was all in. I was all in the Slack. I'm messaging people. I'm like watching all of the wonderful talks. I'm getting inspired left and right. I was obsessed. I found this beautiful community that was so dedicated to learning. Just, it's something that I obviously love to do. And then also uplifting others and like really pulling other people into the community. There's not a lot of gatekeeping here, and I really, really appreciate that. Y'all are super, super awesome to beginners and especially career changers like me. And I just fell in love, not with him, with you guys. So I decided last year to shoot my shot, and I applied and then was accepted into the SANS Cyber Academy. I just graduated in May, and oh my gosh, thank you guys. Thank you. It was a lot of hard work. I got my GCIH. I felt really, really good about things. I got promoted at work to director of IT. They invented it for me, so that's really nice. And then my studying slowed down a lot. I wasn't as disciplined as I was this past year. I decided to take a brain break. I spent a lot of free time playing video games. You know, those fictional vampires won't romance themselves. And if you know, you know. And I could feel my GCIH knowledge just slipping away. Like, my brain was turning to jello. And I was really worried of losing all of the things that I just spent a year cramming into my head. So I picked something that I kind of got a lower score on the GCIH, don't tell anybody, cloud security, so that way I can learn a little bit more about it. And I wanted to dive headfirst and challenge myself. And I looked at my in-house personal cloud expert. And I was like, yo, how can we help each other stay sharp, but like make it fun?
But I don't know about cloud expert, but we made a capture the flag.
Yes. Let me be super, super real with you guys. When Jared suggested this, that I take a red team role, my first thought was, LOL, no, not gonna be me. I only just finished learning attack frameworks. Like honestly, I feel bad hacking. I have a blue team spirit.
But by doing those red team actions, you can really solidify your confidence in doing blue team and understanding how to catch stuff. How do you know it's secure unless you tried to hack it? That's always at the back of my brain when I'm at work every day and feeling paranoid. So
turns out he was right. So we built one. And since we are neurodivergent and we need a reward that's other than just the knowledge, we made a fun little wager. If he wins, he gets to buy some fancy offset smoker, like to smoke meats. But if I win,
if Liz wins, okay, we're gonna expand the family.
Me and the kid want a dog.
So I took care of like the flags and the infrastructure. I really spent a lot of time setting up multiple ways to escalate from a low privilege role to cluster admin in Kubernetes or root or however you would say it, right? So spent a lot of time setting up that flag, setting up those infrastructure. Liz spent some time studying Kubernetes and cloud technologies, kind of getting caught up on the important pieces you need to know if you're going to exploit it. And personally, I've always been a little bit extra when it comes to studying. Like I'm a little psycho. So this felt like a really good time to pass on to Liz one of the things that maybe annoyed her over the last 15 years of my career, which is the home lab. Okay. I've had computers, Raspberry Pi servers, whatever, switches, you name it, and it makes a lot of noise, and the spouse acceptance factor might be kind of low, right? But I didn't want to just get a Bastion host set up and pull in Liz's SSH key and put her to work. So I thought, how can we structure this like a real company, right? Like, so we used Office 365, E5 licenses, Azure, AWS, like it cost us money, right? It was like a real thing. I wanted to be as real as possible. So we got busy. The first thing I did was I vibe coded a web platform.
Oh, you can't see
it. Took away the thing.
Man, that's okay. It was a fun font.
So I put together a cloud provider front-end dashboard, kind of like a Linode or a DigitalOcean with the help of my friend Claude. And Liz and I have started a real fake company. We're in the cloud provider business now, baby. So welcome to Shark.cloud.
I did not pick the name.
You know what's funny is like I have been watching talks all weekend and I didn't think like, what is this person going to have to draw when we start putting poop emojis up on the screen?
We're very unserious. I'm
sorry
about
guys. That. Apologies to whoever has to draw this. So Shark.cloud can provide customers with virtual machines, containers, object storage with just a few clicks or a shell script. Internally, we're running on Talos Linux. We're using Cloudflare workers to serve up the front end. We're using Cloudflare tunnels to securely route traffic back to our house because it is a home lab after all. And we are using cloud storage in AWS and Azure for backing up. When a customer signs up, we're going to create a namespace on the cluster that's going to hold all their resources. We're going to spin their infrastructure up, and we can programmatically expose services via Cloudflare tunnel.
You spent a really long time on this.
I spent way too long on this, but I wanted this to be like, something you can stick your teeth in, or Liz rather. So I got actual data. We not actual data, fake company data, right? So Shark.cloud has company websites, like we're hosting some enterprise websites, a Minecraft server for a popular streamer on YouTube who has 7 concurrent viewers. And like every cloud provider out there, we have multiple fraudulent customers mining cryptocurrency. They tell you you'll never be able to compete with the big guys, but I'm doing just fine over here.
All right, so the CTF begins. He's made all of this amazing stuff for me. What access am I going to start out with?
So like a lot of enterprise companies out there, we're going to be using SSO to log into the Kubernetes cluster. We've got Intra ID set up, Cube login set up. And this is going to start out with read-only access.
So that actually was perfect for me. So if you couldn't tell already, I'm a former theater kid. I needed some sort of backstory, a motivation, a reason for existing. I really, really wanted to get into character. And the rise of the DPRK, like cyber operative schemes or whatever that's going on, it fascinates me. How the threat actors operate, not because they use like all these sophisticated tools or anything, but because of just the methodical, patient, they leverage that legitimate access in like super unauthorized ways. I don't know. They're not the flashiest of hackers, but they're effective, and they evolve each time that they're caught. And I low-key admire them. I didn't say that, but you know, I chose to follow that playbook. I became the threat, basically. So what does an insider threat like this want? The obvious things, right? I want money, control, data for intelligence and extortion so I can get more money. But why? We don't have time to get into it, but believe me, I have a whole backstory written up. My character sheet is really nice. So the plan of attack is first to do a little recon, obviously, see what's out there, see what I can do, and then establish persistence and, of course, escalate those beautiful permissions.
So I didn't want to just set up this infrastructure and let Liz start throwing attacks at it without being able to capture that data and sort of hone my ability to detect threats. I'm a security engineer. I'm not a detection engineer. Lydia did a great talk yesterday on detection engineering, and had I watched that talk, probably would have shaved 6 months off of my life for sure. Would have been great. But I've been playing with a project called DuckDB over the last year and a half, and I really fell in love with it. This is a fast cloud native database that supports popular file types like CSV, JSON, and Parquet. I can't believe it's not columnar. So if you watched the Data Lake talk yesterday by Brian Davis, he talked a lot about how you could shave off a ton of money by reducing your compute, get away from the open search cluster, move towards putting in S3 and using services like Athena to query your data. That is actually where I started. That's where I was at first, but Athena got expensive. AWS glue jobs are expensive as hell. And so I had to pivot personally to continue learning, and I found DuckDB. So what DuckDB can do is it can reach into your cloud storage, S3, Azure Blob, whatever, and grab the data that's there and parse it all locally, or you can have a virtual machine in AWS or a container in a Kubernetes cluster, right? It's very, very flexible. So you're basically offloading those Athena compute queries to your local machine if it's able to do that. It's very, very performant too, so it can crunch a lot of data pretty quickly. And you query it with SQL, which is another thing I'm not very good at. I was trying to learn. So it seemed like a match made in heaven for me to try and detect the events and see the problems that are in the cloud, like all of the misconfigurations with this cool new software. So when it comes to mapping events, there is a really great project out there from the folks who make SteamPipe, which is a foreign data wrapper for cloud technologies on top of Postgres. They made a project called Tailpipe, which is an open source theme that will take your logs and map them to DuckDB databases locally. It's modular. It has plugins for things like AWS, GCP. I wrote a plugin for Kubernetes, but it doesn't work very well. I'll try and fix that. But it met my needs for this purpose. So with Tailpipe, we can use SQL, try and search through these cloud events and find what Liz is doing.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't happy just looking at the events, right? At my day job, I spent a lot of time working in the CSPM space, tuning up detections and things like that. So I wanted to see, can I use DuckDB to look at misconfigurations as well, right? A lot of these fancy cloud security posture management scanners, all those vendors out there in the summit, I'm sure, they're grabbing JSON from cloud providers like AWS and giving it back to you, right? Wiz got a fancy Neptune database or whatever. We don't have that. So what I did was I built a cloud configuration scanner alongside my confidant Claude.
That's
Yeah, we're real close. So it's modular, supports AWS, GCP, Azure, Kubernetes, and can discover resources on the clusters you give it access to and save their configuration as JSON to DuckDB. And we can SQL the query. The way that it hits your cloud provider, like AWS, for instance, if you have the resource graph, I think service called set up, it'll hit that first and pull the actual resources you have without having to enumerate through everything. But if that's blocked, it'll go through and enumerate all those services manually. And then we also look at things like MS Graph for Azure. So we're going to save all those things. We're going to query them. I wouldn't say this is production software. I certainly wouldn't be recommending you go out there and do that unless you're also a masochist. And don't try it at home unless you like suffering.
So as we go through a few of my attacks, we're going to keep track of who's winning and who's losing with this super sophisticated setup we've got going on right here. Fun emojis, I guess.
So let's let the super low stakes begin.
Yeah.
So Liz is going to log in
Yes.
with Entra ID to the Talos Linux cluster, start testing her permissions inside of it. Read-only access in the cloud, not in my cloud, maybe in yours, is often poorly configured. And this is no different to CTF, and Liz's permissions are able to read secrets due to misconfigurations inside of the article.
Yeah, this tracks back to the technique used in insider threat scenarios, using that legitimate access to find things maybe we shouldn't without getting caught, right? So was Jared able to see all of my nefarious activities?
So I was able to see some of it, right?
Yeah.
The early enumeration, I was able to capture, but I didn't expect her to take this as seriously as she did. And she only went after high-value flags.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I tiptoed around instead. Honestly, I went for things that I could explain away as like accidents with my boss. If he questioned me or whatever, I could be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I wasn't supposed to look at that. Oh no." I did skip some of the honey tokens that he left to trip me up. And though I saw like multiple promising secrets, I kept my eyes on the prize, and I only checked if I could get the secrets.
And this for sure like put a wrench in my plans. All of the detections and SQL I had written were looking for mass enumeration of things like secrets and those valuable targets. And I was crushed when I didn't find it. I thought there was a bug in my software, but it turns out my wife just role plays really serious.
Yes, very seriously. So what are the points?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be 1-to-1.
Yeah, 1-to-1.
So we're gonna look at the queries for this. They can be really verbose.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There we go.
Beautiful.
They're very verbose.
These things can be very verbose. It's like dense queries. So there's more detailed versions if you click not click, but if you go to the GitHub. So with Tailpipe, I was able to see Liz ask, "Can I?" to the Kubernetes cluster like 1,000 times, but I didn't see any secret enumeration because she didn't grab any during the time frame where I was like looking to capture. She went in after and snuck up on me. For configuration scanning, however, we were able to see that the misconfiguration where we're giving wildcard access to secrets.
Okay, so one of the things that I learned when I was studying for GCIH, obviously, was that the attackers tend to focus on those high-value targets. There were like 15 secrets in the cluster that I was supposed to look at, but I didn't. My eyes, for some reason, immediately went to the backup namespace where I found all of the good stuff.
Good stuff in the other namespace.
Whatever.
We're not gonna.
Not as good as the backup operator.
That's true. The backup namespace was actually running Valero and backed up all the VMs, storage, and container info to AWS and Azure.
Yeah, I could also exec into pods in a few namespaces, and so I was able to run Metasploit and get a reverse TCP shell going. With that operator token, I could also create pods inside of the kube system. I did try to escape out of the container, but the distro he used was so weird, it wasn't like acting normal.
Shout out to Talos Linux immutable Kubernetes distro. I'm accepting
So
sponsorship.
did he catch it?
Yes,
Yes,
thank God.
yes.
In both applications, I was able to see that the execing happening into some very privileged pods that were intercepting shell commands for all the customers. We don't know what the score is at this point.
We're tied. We're tied.
Okay.
It's tied. So that same backup namespace that I had credentials for, an Azure Service Principal and an AWS IAM user that Jared was using to back up to the cloud. After poking around in AWS and Azure CLI, I was able to figure out where the data was going. Multiple cloud storage accounts that he's built in server-side encryption, so I was able to get access to the customer data very easily. And after that, I started like furiously copying all the files over to a bucket that only I controlled.
Yeah, so not gonna lie, this one was another L for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see the data leaving our production.
Oh,
thank you.
There we go.
I was able to see the data leaving from our production chart.cloud buckets going into Liz's like staging buckets she'd set up, but there was some misconfigs I was looking for specifically. MFA delete versioning were not turned on, and I couldn't see it. I should have been able to see it. It was probably a bug in my software, and I do not personally blame my life partner, Claude. It's my fault. But at the end of the day, Liz is up in points, and it's not looking good.
Yeah. So the finale, I had all of this access, and I was wondering, oh man, like, can I really ransomware my husband? Like, am I really going to destroy all of the work that he spent building up this whole, all of the customer data, the many hours, 20 something hours that he spent building up all of this stuff? And did I really have the heart to do that? Turns out, yeah, I did. Absolutely, I did. So there I was, I'm deploying my ransomware to my husband's real AWS and Azure accounts, really hoping that he set this up well enough that I didn't actually brick anything. And so what did I actually do? I used the keys that I owned. I encrypted all of the customer backups, the etcd configs, whatever other dumb stuff he put in there. And then I locked it up.
There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of dumb stuff.
So was I able to see like the encryption, the tailpipe? Yes. It was already too late though. I also was able to catch the ransom note getting added to the bucket because I had object log turned on. Again, didn't matter because Liz put a very vicious and mean lifecycle policy that would expire all of the encrypted files in 72 hours. If I didn't pay the ransom, I don't know what I'm going to tell the shareholders.
I feel like that's plenty of time, but that's my ransom note, and it's very clear. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get his precious data back. So, did Shart.cloud, that weird name, did they pay the ransom?
I wasn't ready for a dog emotionally, but I'm a man of my word. I took the loss on the chin, and we were happy to welcome this sweet little dummy into our home.
I love her so much, you guys.
Precious.
So what was actually really cool about this is that we got to work together on something fun while also working independently on our own little things. But we did base a lot of this on actual TTPs out there. The game is fake, but the infiltration is super real. The threat could be coming from inside the house, right?
So in terms of lessons learned, again, I'm not a detection engineer, and if somebody was competent, they probably would have done a lot better than me. But I learned that detections don't always work on the first try or even the fifth, but eventually, with enough coffee, things will work out.
And then as for me, lessons I learned, I think being curious and forging my own path through this like crazy little sandbox that Jared set up for me was way more valuable than getting bogged down in all the complexities of all of the things. Like I was freaking out about learning Kubernetes. Like I didn't know how to like pronounce all the things. I was saying
Kubectl.
I was saying Kubectl. That's not right. But I honestly, I was able to do more than I thought I could. And that GCIH class, man, y'all, that really prepared me for this. It was pretty awesome.
So some final thoughts from me on like the DuckDB side, right? The technology is really underutilized, I think, in the security space. There's not a ton of maturity of software for things. So if you're looking to do something a little out of the box, you're gonna probably have to write it I had to write a lot of software to kind of make all this work, whereas I could have just thrown this stuff into Elk or Splunk and it just worked immediately, and I probably could have slept a lot easier. But I love DuckDB's cloud native storage support. I love the idea of being able to not pay AWS a ton of money to enrich my logs when I can just run it locally on my laptop or in my home lab server, you know, pay on compute I pay for already. Electricity I pay for already. Anyway, sorry. So I also think, you know, because we went through this exercise together, it was like deeper learning on both sides. At the end of the day, we'd be, you know, eating dinner, laughing, talking about what we worked on, what we learned. Oh, I went to this webinar. I learned this about, you know, the DRPK TTPs. Oh, I did that. I follow with Claude all day about this, you know, like that kind of stuff. And it really allowed us to kind of dig into our own individual interests while like working together. So what we're gonna do, it's gonna take a lot of work, but
Y'all, this is gonna be wild.
we're gonna adjust the CTF a bit. We're gonna take out a lot of the paid services like Azure, AWS, you know, all that stuff, and we're gonna kind of make it a standalone thing that runs inside a virtual machine. So it'll be your turn to play along. We're gonna build a version of this, release on the web. You can be silly with us too.
Come be silly with us. Let's put all of his work to use, because like he was really deflated for a second when I just skipped over all of the cool little fun jokes that he put in.
A lot of
juicy
stuff,
inappropriate
man.
stuff. Also,
Yeah, I definitely couldn't present.
We
that
would
up
not
here.
be asked that. They would tell us to get out.
NSFW for sure.
For
Anyway,
sure.
connect with us on LinkedIn. We are very professional. You can
So
shoot us an
professional.
email at our professional shark.cloud domain names.
We're professional. Send me all of your pet pics. Like my favorite thing on the Slack is all the puppies and cats and all the things. So send them to me, please.
Yeah.
I want to see them. And I have a million pictures of Rue that I can send to you. So thank you guys so much for joining our cyber shenanigans.
Thank you.